Morning, friends. Uh, so we had one session earlier. So today I just thought of taking one session on something that is called art of delegation. And I think if there is one quality, if I really need to, single out, that will determine the extent and level of success for an entrepreneur. I think it is the quality of delegation. How one is able to delegate, how effectively one is able to delegate will, determine that kind of a free time for him so that he has more bandwidth and he can utilize that time into doing something that is more meaningful for him. That will really advance his organization to the next level. So just thought of taking this few minutes on art of delegation. So before I begin, let me just share one incident from where it all started for me. I was with a friend of mine in a coffee shop, and we were discussing. He's a small business owner, and we were having a chat. And after a while, he said, "Malay, I need to leave now." So, and then I said, I mean, we met after some time, so let's chat for a little longer. He said, "नहीं नहीं मुझे जाना पड़ेगा. अगर मैं नहीं जाऊंगा तो ऑफिस में things won't move." Uh, I said, "You have people, you already recruited people, and you have team, and the team will take care of your business, I'm sure." So he said, "नहीं नहीं मैं ऑफिस में नहीं जाऊंगा तो पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है." That's how he spoke, and that really hit me. That the one what he said, and two how he said. So I looked at it as two problems here. One obvious problem is there was no effective delegation. He did not delegate his work to his team. That was one obvious problem. But I thought the other problem and more important problem was that he did not even realize that this is the problem. That was an issue that he did not even realize that this is a problem. He was actually saying it with pride that अगर मैं ऑफिस में नहीं जाऊंगा तो पत्ता भी नहीं लेगा. So like he was feeling more on in control, that if he is not there the work doesn't move. And I thought that was one biggest thing that was stopping him from growing. The precisely the topic that we were discussing over a cup of coffee. And I thought so that made me think more that this is one area which, if, especially the small business owners or the medium and small business owners, if they can tackle this area well, they can really increase their bandwidth and focus on a lot of other meaningful activities in their business. So one of the chapters that I have in my book is the art of delegation. And delegation, I would say nothing but ability to get someone else do your job and do it well. So you combine both of that. Get someone else do the job and do it well. Now, even in our corporate world, we've seen that there are leaders in the corporate world, and obviously there have to be delegation, and that's something which is absolutely essential. Uh, However, there are various reasons why I've figured out that people don't delegate delegate the work. They are very hesitant in delegating the work. The first being, people always say that I am busy. I have no time to explain. So rather than explaining somebody else do the job, how to do it and all of that, it's better for let me do it because I am so busy that I don't have time to explain. Probably the other reason is I am doing it for years, something which I am doing it for years. So it is easier for me to do it rather than having someone else do it. These are the third category. If you want to do it right, do it yourself. They are what we call perfectionists. That if I give it to somebody, probably he will not be able to do the job the way I am doing it. So why to compromise on the quality of work? That's their perception, and so he himself keeps doing it. And of course, the fourth is your own insecurity about your own job, right? Because if somebody else is starts doing the work better or start doing my work, then what will happen to my own position? So there are insecurity that these people have, and that's why they probably hesitate to delegate the work. So let's come to the. I figured out there are 8 parameters, or there are 8 steps which we can look at for an effective delegation. The first one being clarity. It is absolutely necessary for you as a leader to have clarity about what job you are delegating, what do you expect from him to deliver. So that clarity for you is absolutely essential. And at the same time, you have to make sure that the clarity is also with the person to whom you are delegating. What you have said is clear, and what he has understood is exactly what you want him to understand. So the clarity is absolutely essential at both ends, because most of the time I've seen the work doesn't get done clearly because there is a lack of clarity. Not from your side, but you haven't clearly and in detail explained the person of the kind of job, the kind of outcome that you expect for the work that you are delegating. So probably first point I would put that be absolutely clear about your your the assignment, the task that you are delegating. Second point I would say, start small. If you are new into your leadership position, or if the person to whom you are delegating is relatively new, start small. Don't get over enthusiastic and don't jump to giving bigger tasks to him. Just try and test the water, what we say. Give him a smaller task, see how he's performing, see how he's working. Just handhold him a little more and see how the work is flowing. Something which, if possible, some task which if it's not done well, then probably you have an opportunity even to reverse that. So it's something which is not going to really have a negative effect on if it is not done well. So once you are confident, once he is confident, when you gel well of how the work is being done, probably then you can slowly and gradually give him more responsible kind of work. So I think other thing for the leaders to note is, like, just start small and then gradually take it up. Right person. Obviously, you got to choose the person to whom you are delegating, that his ability, his experience, his way of doing the work matches with the kind of work that you have to to execute. So probably look at the right kind of person, and this comes, I suppose, more from the experience that who is well placed, who is best person to do this job. And so therefore, I would say that select the person who is capable to do this job well. So that's the point number three. Point number four, give support. It's not that I delegate and then I leave it to him. That now you you execute this work. Try and give close support. Obviously, the resources, the infrastructure, everything that is required in your opinion to get this job done. So don't just leave with the work. Explain the work, as we said, have clarity, start small, explain the work, and also continue to give him support of how the work will be done. Many times we've seen that we give the responsibility of work to the subordinate, but that responsibility is not matched with some sort of authority. If we really have to delegate the work, you have to give him some freedom, some freedom to take decision, some let him explore himself also when he's doing the work, within a certain parameters. But you've got to see that how he's performing, and also give him some authority to take decision, to maybe spend some money to recruit some resource or whatever needs to be done. Give him some sort of authority so that he feels more, he starts owning the work. He feels more being in the ownership of the work, and that will help him to assume more responsibility, more accountability for the work that we have already given to him. Most critical and important, I suppose, is the time frame. Make sure that you have defined clearly what are the time frames, by what time, by what day you expect this work to get over. Because if this is kept in dark, then probably the work can get stretched to whatever extent. So make sure that you have conveyed to him that this is a timeline within which we expect you to complete the work. Many times we see that the work is probably little of longer duration, and so maybe we need to break down the work into smaller milestones and see that these milestones are achieved within the timeline that you have prescribed. So timeline is important, and on those milestones, there must be regular review of the progress report. How much he has progressed in terms of the work? Is he going as per your expectation, or is he falling off the track, getting back on the track? Uh, Give him support, kind of. So make sure that you have the review of the progress report regularly, and rather than just waiting for the for, till the end of the assignment and see that अरे अभी तक हुआ नहीं है, you haven't done it right, you haven't done it correctly. And so if it is always better to set milestones and keep review and control of the progress report of the work. As we seen earlier, there are people who want to do everything perfect, and it's not nothing wrong with that. But somewhere down the line, you got to start. If you train your people, if you uh, give them support, if you have the right kind of team, you have clarity, and you have communicated the assignment clearly to them, given them the resources, I suppose you've got to start, training them, and they will start delivering the results as likely as you are doing, right? And it is quite possible that you as a leader have got 10 things to do, and when your subordinate has got only one, two, or three things to do, probably over a period of time, he will do the job better than even you are doing it today. So maybe you got to have some patience, got to train him, and don't just stick to being a perfectionist. Because over a period of time, if you are running an organization, you don't have to do only one job. You have to do a lot of things. So the people to whom you are delegated, I'm sure they start performing much better, but over a long period of time. So just let go of that desire to just be perfect, and only you can do the job in a perfect manner. Let's develop the team. So at the end of the day, we all know the team who will be responsible and who will to take the organization forward. And this could be my last step in this delegation process is feedback. I think this is one of the most important aspect. Again, uh, they are the people who are relatively new, who are still in the learning stage, and I think feedback is very very essential. And when I say feedback, it must be honest feedback, and it must be quick feedback. When you when you get when somebody comes to you with a report, somebody comes to you with that the work that they have done, be honest in your feedback. Don't just criticize for the sake of, or don't even just praise for the sake of doing it. Whatever is your feedback, whatever is your opinion about that work, give an honest feedback, and give the feedback there and there, rather than talking something afterwards. And I believe that it's not what you speak, but it's how you speak that makes a lot of difference. So when you give feedback, make sure that you have praised the work that is done well. And in fact, I would always recommend that you must start with the positive, and then wherever he has faltered, probably you can go on, informing him, pinpointing where exactly he has faltered and what he can do to improve that area, so that the next time when he does that work, you find improvement in the in the person who has come up with this kind of work. So once you have that feedback, once you give that opportunity for your subordinate to improve his work, and next time I'm sure when he comes back to you, he will come back with much better, some better way of better assignment that you would have done. So yeah, so I would say primarily if one looks at this 8 steps, uh, clarity, start small, have the right person to do the right job, give support, balance responsibility and authority, time frame, define the time frame upfront and keep reviewing the progress report. Don't don't just try to be perfectionist, and give your honest and quick feedback. If you can really look at these 8 steps or the 8 parameters, and while we start delegating, I'm sure we'll be able to build a team that over a period of time will be so strong that they'll be take a lot of your personal load of work, which will make you freer, which will have you will have more bandwidth to concentrate on the things that you always want to do, always wish to do, and which you always supposed to do as the leader of the organization. So yeah, uh, thank you. These are the few slides and few learnings that I had over a period of time on the art of delegation. And I would just reiterate that if I just asked to pick one skill that an entrepreneur should have, in which will help him take forward in his career, in his business, I would say that it's an art of delegation. Yeah,
And that
thank you.
applies to all, like even when I'm working on a project, I'm completing one project. So like I have seen that there are few team members where we have resource sharing also. I remember one instance where there was one guy who came and was working with me, and my manager gave me a feedback that I doubt that this person will be a great help to you with your project. I sat with him and gave him. I mostly followed the entire 8 steps, and when I was doing an evaluation for him, we have a concept of giving how and what kind of rating, and where we give do not meet, meets, and exceed rating. And one of the area of how he performed his work, I was willing to give him exceed rating. And my manager actually sat with me and him, and wanted to understand why I'm giving exceed, because he got do not need from some other manager, and I was giving him exceed because and to be honest, I was following all these steps what you mentioned, and it really helped this guy to come out of his performance, because the other manager he was working with was not providing him what of these things, and he was unable to come out with the outcomes which we were expecting.
Sure,
Right?
sure. So
Like you have actually put it in a 8 bullet points what we do in a structured manner.
yeah. So actually, if you really follow this process that you rightly mentioned, I mean, you will be amazed to see the kind of results that these people will start producing, because they feel that now you have started trusting them with their ability to execute or produce results, and they do produce such kind of amazing results. You will be many times get surprised that wow, we've now started working very well. Yeah.
And it's like nice way of putting 8 bullet points. So we do this on a regular basis, but we don't have these 8 steps in our brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I
Thanks.
had to work as a consultant for 5 years. The industry I think took a break and was for 5 years. So if I say this is the main, let's say, outcome for this. Some really mastering it and some really do not want to. I'm not willing to take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, as you also saying, Aditya was saying, it's not rocket science, but one has to be willing to also let go some control. You know, many times we get obsessed with the kind of control that we want to have over our organization. That as I gave the example before that, अगर मैं नहीं रहूंगा तो पता भी नहीं मिलेगा kind of attitude, and they feel happy about it. So delegation mein you have to also be willing to let go some control, and I think
And I think persons like you as one of coaching these entrepreneurs will really help them to get out of that mold of. There are sometimes the people who work for a very long years in the organization and they develop, they keep on, what do you say, giving a message to the owner say that, this has to be done this way, otherwise this won't do.
yeah.
And then new joiners get discouraged and this.
So I actually also, I mean, as I said, I work with many smaller owners also, and I've heard them saying कि अपना दिमाग मत चलाओ. मैं बोलूँ उतना करो, अपना दिमाग मत चलाओ. Exactly in the opposite direction they are going.
Thanks for the recording.
Sorry?
Thank everyone.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wonderful, Malay. I would just say, art of delegation.